Welcome to 29 to Life.
The podcast where two nearly 30-year-olds are still trying to figure out their 20s.
I'm Annie.
And I'm Lucy.
Come and join us as we figure it all out together. Hi.
Wow, that was energetic. Hi, how are you?
It was really high pitched. I'm sorry.
That's quite all right. Hey, mate.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Yeah, good.
Yeah?
Good.
Feeling groovy?
Feeling groovy, prepped, ready to rock and roll.
Ready to talk all about comparisons, are you?
I am.
Ready
Always.
to compare the meerkat, if you will?
Oh, God. Yes, absolutely.
Do you know what I'm also ready for?
What?
A jingle.
Go for it.
Here it is. Right. Over to you. This
Over
is your
to me.
thing.
I know
feel
it
like
is.
people should, we all should know by now.
It's
We
that
have
time
an
of the week.
intro, we say hello, we jingly jangly, and then Lucy does what Lucy does best.
Exactly. You know, my little segment that we like to call Lucy's Loves and Loathes. It's everybody's favourite time of the week, so don't tell me anything different.
All right.
Yeah. This week's Loves and Loathes. I'm absolutely bloody loving the gradual lighter nights.
Oh my God, yes.
Yeah, right? And it's just so nice to get back home after I've been in the office and I've parked up in my little parking space and I'm like, oh, she's still light. I can still see. And I go up into Browner Towers and I'm like, oh, what a lovely sunset. How lovely.
Yeah.
You know? And spring is coming out and flowers. And it's just, I feel like I always rejuvenate in March. And I don't know if it's because it's my birthday month.
Maybe. It's your personal New Year.
It's my personal New Year. I just feel like, yeah.
There's always that day in March as well where you don't have to wear a coat and everything feels really exciting.
Yeah, it does.
Then the next day it's Baltic again. But
yeah.
That one day, it means a lot.
It does. It signifies something,
It's
right?
special.
It is special.
Well, I love that too, so I agree.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Loathing lastminute.com requests from people to me.
Fair
Right?
enough. Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm over it a little bit. It happens, it can't be avoided. But I'm just also, maybe it's because I'm big on communication and it's just like, give me enough time and I will do whatever I can.
You do work miracles a lot of the time, but you're not handing out
No.
loaves of bread and fishes and wine, are you?
No, I'm not. It's not.
You're not quite Jesus level miracle worker yet.
No, I'm not. I'm working on it.
She's nearly there.
She's nearly there.
But a bit rude for people to assume
Yeah.
that one, you are already there, and two, you even want to be there.
Yeah, and I just feel like, everyone, let's just take 5. Let's just chill out a little bit, okay?
Let's just give me maybe 3 more days' notice than you have done.
Yeah, and then we're all good.
Yeah.
So
It's all Gucci, baby.
It's all Gucci. But that's my love and my loathe
Like
of
it.
the week.
I
Did
agree.
you like that? Did you enjoy that?
I did. I loved it and I loathed it.
Great.
I feel like I say that every time, but
Yeah.
I did.
And I hope everyone is, loving and loathing with me.
I feel like it would be weird if people loathed your love and loved your loathe this week.
I mean, that's on them.
Listen, there's some masochists out there, so let's not yuck anyone's yum. But
Yeah, exactly. But that's me.
I love it. All right,
Thank
thanks.
you. Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do my thing then.
All right.
My turn. Here is our favourite slang-based game. Put another slang on the Barbie. I mean, I feel like you keep guessing these. So I've tried to go a little bit off the wall with it, but I feel like maybe it's the way I'm putting the sentences together.
Oh, okay. Well,
I
that's
haven't
on
changed it. It's on me. I haven't changed it for this week, but I might get you.
you. Okay. Try me.
All right. Hey, Roo, I'm off to get Blotto and have a poke. Oh, she's blinking. She's got a blank stare on her face.
One more time.
Hey, Roo, I'm off to get Blotto and have a poke.
Okay, Blotto I know is getting drunk.
How do you know? Okay, what is the point of this if you know them all? I'm going to get rid of this segment soon.
No. Because actually, blotto is a slang term that has been used in the UK. I feel like not so much now, but I feel like definitely when I was growing up,
Maybe it's the neighbours effect.
Maybe. But I know that's drunk.
Right.
So, did you say hey roo?
No, I said hooroo.
Hooroo.
Yeah.
Hooroo?
What's she thinking?
The cogs are turning.
Is anything coming out though?
No. I feel like is that like another sort of just generalised saying that you have in Australia, like that sort of...
In what sense?
In a sense, like, hey you.
What?
Like...
Would they not just say hey you instead of hooroo?
I don't know. Hooroo.
Do you know the rest of it? You know the blotto bit, but you don't know. Have you deciphered the rest?
I can't remember what the term was.
I'm going to read it as an English person and see if it sounds any different to you.
Okay.
Hooroo, I'm off to get blotto and have a poke.
Is poke smoke?
Negative.
No.
I went through what smoking was with you in one of these before.
Yeah. But there could be so many different words for smoke.
It'd be weird to say poke when you could just say smoke.
I am actually stumped on this one.
Yes.
The only one the only word I know is blotto, which is drunk. I can't comprehend in my mind what you're trying to tell me.
You're not going to guess anything? Just have a wild guess.
All right, I'm going to go get drunk and fight. I don't know. I have no idea.
Hooroo is like see you later.
Right.
See you later. I'm off to get blotto. So drunk.
Yeah.
And have a poke is, do you know what a pokey is? Do you know what the pokies are?
No.
So, slot machine.
Oh.
So they're called the pokies. So having a poke means you're poke because you poke the buttons.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
So see you later. I'm off to get drunk and gamble, basically.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Which is probably quite a common phrase out there.
Yeah, and I mean, drinking and gambling could lead to a fight. Do you know what I mean?
Maybe, but that's not what it meant.
No, I know. I'm just trying to...
You didn't get it.
No, I didn't.
Yes, I win. Finally. So yeah.
Okay, well, I asked you to challenge me and you did.
Yeah, I did. I'm annoyed you got blotto, though.
Why? Don't get annoyed at my successes.
No, it's just I'm trying to teach you things and I haven't taught you anything apart from 2 words.
That's okay. It's a learning curve.
Oh well, the segment will survive another day then. I've beat you.
Yeah,
if you would have got this one, I was like, I'm giving up. I'm just going to have to come up with something new.
Oh my God, wow.
Yeah, this was make or break, so...
Good job, I got it wrong
keep going. If you get the next week's right, I'm done.
All right, fine. Absolutely fine.
All right then, let's get into the episode, shall we?
Yeah.
As always, you can check us out on our social pages. We have an Instagram, we have a YouTube, we have a TikTok page, all with the same handle, at 29tolifepod.
And then you can also send us a cheeky email, which is 29tolifepod@gmail.com.
Perfect.
This week,
yeah,
it's all about comparison.
It is.
Which I feel is such, again, another big topic that I feel like people sort of skirt around a little bit, because it's almost like when you are comparing yourself, well, I feel for me as well, it's just like, why am I doing that? They're like, I don't need to do that. And yet it's something that we do. It's, for me, I'm always like, oh, what's going on in my head right now?
I agree, and I also disagree.
Of course.
Well, otherwise it's boring, isn't it?
Yeah,
just go, yep, and then we move on.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I agree in that it's not talked about in an honest way.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Because I do think comparisons are mentioned, and particularly on social media, I've seen a lot of it recently of like, don't compare yourself to other people. And yes, a lot of those messages come from a genuine place and they are really nice. But I think some of them are used as a means to garner attention or to actually weirdly do the opposite and make people feel bad. Do you know what I mean? Like that sounds really insidious, and I don't think all of them are like that, but there are some that you see that they're like, oh yeah, don't compare yourself to this and that, and it's like, well, that's easy for you to say because you're in a position where you're like financially well off and really pretty.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, you're trying to be nice, but shut up.
Yeah, exactly. I do feel that when people come out and talk openly about comparison in that way, especially
in a vulnerable way,
on social media, it can be really helpful, because then I feel like it brings everyone back down to earth a little bit, back into the present, being like, right, okay, yeah, we all just need to refocus. But then other people do it, and sometimes I'm just like,
this feels like you're hopping on a trend.
You're hopping on a trend. Have you ever actually struggled with comparison? Because I do feel like comparison can be a struggle.
Definitely. And it's an individual thing, like with success last week. Your comparison is completely your set of circumstances of what's being compared against. So that's different for every single person.
Yeah.
So it does make it much more personal. And a generic video saying, oh, don't compare yourself to this person, doesn't always fit the glove.
No, of course not.
What you're going through.
No.
But also sometimes it does. Because we're talking about it now, and what we say may not resonate with you particularly.
Yeah.
But it also might for some of you.
Yeah.
It might not do it for all of you, but it might for some of you. So don't compare yourselves.
So on that note then, what would you say was like your earliest memory of you like being completely aware of you comparing yourself to other people, or other people comparing themselves to you?
Yeah, because I think that's the part of it that isn't talked about as much. Everyone always says, oh, don't compare yourself to other people, blah blah blah, but it's actually other people are actually comparing themselves to you too. And that can be both a good and bad thought, in that comparison in itself I don't think is a healthy thing.
No, it's not.
And I don't really see a positive to it.
No.
Because you're just focusing on things that aren't necessary to focus on.
But also adding your own narrative to that. Because sometimes someone could see something and compare themselves to that person and
not know the full
story.
Yeah. Well, I think going back to your original question of when did I first feel a comparison around me or have myself being compared to someone else, probably in primary school, I think.
Yeah, I would agree.
That young.
Yeah.
I think sports day.
I was just thinking sports for my
Because, and it wasn't even necessarily about how I looked or anything like that on a sports day. It was like, I'm not as fast as that person, or I'm the fastest.
Yeah.
Because in primary school, I was a runner, I was a track star in primary school, but...
She was a runner, she's a track star.
Only for 100 metres. The short sprints, I used to win, but anything longer, I didn't. So I think I stopped entering them. But there's that comparison there of, oh, that person's faster than me at a sport, or better at me than that.
Yeah.
Or like when you're being put into, when you start doing PE with you learn different sports, or you get put on your extracurricular sports teams like netball or whatever, and it's like, why am I not in the A team, or why am I in the A team and not the B team?
Yes, yeah.
Like, what is it that put me here? So then you naturally start looking at everyone else around you and go, oh, okay, because I'm better at this than them. Yeah, I think sports and sports day were probably like my first experiences of them in primary school. It's probably the first actual comparison I had. But I don't know if that was ever a negative thing. So actually, maybe I do rescind what I said about comparisons always being negative, because that to me was more, okay, this is a marker of my ability. It's not for me to say I'm better or worse than someone. It just shows me where I am within that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
What about for you?
I would say very similar, actually. Yeah. So for, again, primary school, for my year group at primary school, I would say majority of the girls were quite sporty.
Okay.
And so I'm not, right?
Yeah.
And it's not that I didn't try, because I did. I'm a trier.
We love that about you.
Yeah, absolutely. But I would always feel like, oh, okay, I've got to keep up.
Yeah.
I've got to be able to show that, okay, I know I'm not as good as them, but I can try. And I got a bit more confident with that, because I managed to get myself onto the B team for netball.
Yeah.
And for rounders. And, you know, I can throw. Do you know what I mean?
I feel like you would have been really good at shot put for some reason.
Thank you very much. I wasn't, but thank you very much. And so I finally felt like, oh, I fit in a bit more now.
Yeah, you found a place.
I found a place. But in reality, that didn't really last very long. Because, and then I had a friend at the time who was incredibly sporty.
Yeah.
And it was like really, really impressive. And it was just like, oh, wow, she's doing that and achieving all of that at this young age, right?
Yeah.
And I was comparing myself, being like, oh, okay, so what can I do? Or
yeah, it's like that keeping up appearances to feel like you're not being left behind. But actually, if you'd have said, okay, she's really good at sport, I love that for her.
Yes.
That's really cool. I'm really happy she's found something she's good at and she enjoys. What am I good at? What do I enjoy? Let me focus on that. And then you would thrive in that area. You're focusing your energy in the wrong place by trying to be something that someone else is being because that's where you feel you should be.
Exactly. I don't know. That was when I first sort of noticed, like, okay,
I have to try a bit harder at this.
I have to try a bit harder, and everyone's got their thing. And I think I was still figuring that out.
Yeah.
Which isn't a bad thing, but a young kid filled, like, in a class filled with everybody else who is quite similar.
Yeah.
Is hard.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well, because naturally there are going to be people who are better than others in that.
Yeah, of course.
So that's probably most people's first experience of it.
Yeah.
So when you're like 4 or 5, coming into school, doing your first sports days, that kind of age. And then for me, I think the next comparison I felt maybe came around like 9, 10, when, you know, your bodies are starting to change. The old puberty starts to kick in around that time. And I think you just naturally become more aware of your body at that age as well. So you're seeing other, you know, when you're getting changed for PE, blah, 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 like, or when you have a sleepover with a friend, you're like, oh, she looks different to me. Yeah. Should I look like her? Should she look like me?
For an example of that, actually, is I was an early developer. I started wearing sort of like sports bras.
Training bras.
Like training bras.
Sorry, just to interrupt for a second. Training bras, the name just makes me laugh. It's like, what are we training for?
Yeah, exactly.
What's going on? Like a training bra for an actual sport. Yeah, it's like Rocky music's playing in the M&S changing room whilst you're crying because you have to wear a bra to school. Yeah. And none of your mates do.
Yeah, but I used to feel really self-conscious about that because we would change for PE. I remember, I don't know if your school ever did this, but at mine, there would be times where my year group would mix with the year above for certain things.
No.
Oh, okay. Mine did, and for one of those was PE. I think it's because we had quite small classes. And I remember...
She's from the country, don't you?
I am from the countryside. And I remember a girl in the year above me, and we were all getting changed, and I was quite self-conscious that I had to wear this training bra. And she just turned round and was just like, oh, you shouldn't be wearing that. Nobody's allowed to be wearing that. And I was just like, oh my God, like, because I was also like, I hated getting in trouble or whatever.
Weird little girl.
I know. And then it just made me feel like, oh, I don't look.
All right, undergarments police.
Yeah, like... I don't look like everybody else around me. So then,
I have to have something different on.
Yes, because you've become very self-aware of your own body.
Tell you what. I mean, you can't change it now because... No. You're no longer in a training bra, nor are you doing PE.
Absolutely not.
What I had was those vests with the built-in like little bralette situations. They were, because what is it about putting kids in vests, by the way? Did you have vests when you were in primary?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Loved a vest. Always had a vest under my shirt at school.
Maybe I did. I don't know.
Don't wear them now.
I'd have to ask my mum. I don't know.
Mum, did I wear vests?
I don't think I did. No.
Anyway, loads of people at my school wore vests.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, loads of people did at mine, but it just wasn't my
freewheeler.
Yeah, freewheeler.
Training bra or nothing, bitch.
Yeah, exactly.
Why did they make us all change together in a room? It is a bit weird, really.
It is weird.
And it's such a cesspit for bullying as well.
Oh, yeah.
Horrendous.
Because I don't know about you, but I have been bullied on and off throughout my school career
Yeah.
for different things.
That's
It's just awful.
I'm not laughing at you. I'm
Sure,
laughing
thanks,
at... No,
thanks.
you will laugh in a minute. When I was about 12, 13, I think I was in year 7, I got sent... I can't even tell the
Oh
story
my
with a
God.
straight face. I got sent like a really horrible email by this like
Right.
anonymous email account. It was so
Okay.
upsetting. And like,
Saying what?
oh, it was like full of like, you shouldn't be friends with this person. They think you're this. You're horrible. You're
Oh,
a...
shit. Okay.
See you next Tuesday. All
No.
yeah. And I was like young then. So I was like, oh my God. I hadn't quite acclimatized to the fact that that's kind of a compliment sometimes in Sydney.
Yeah.
But it was a lot.
Yeah.
And my mum was like, well, what the hell? What do I do? My mum told my one of my sisters,
Oh
who
my
was a
God.
journalist at the time, and she then organised for me to be interviewed on television about cyberbullying.
No. Did that make the bullying worse?
No, it stopped.
Did it?
I thought you would think on paper that would make it worse, the fact that I
Yeah.
ended up on like the evening news because I got an email. Like, it's so embarrassing. And I think I was right. There was this, I don't know if it made it to England or if it was just like an Australian thing, but at the time there was this massive trend for these ridiculous t-shirts from a lovely shop called Supre, but just like awful tween clothes in it.
Okay.
And like
right.
did those like weird like tube stretchy skirts make it to England? And like
Oh.
these t-shirts were like baggy but like off the shoulder and like
Oh, yes, yeah.
often said things like I heart house music, but it was like I and then an actual heart and then a house and then like a music note. And it's like, what 13-year-old hearts house music, like genuinely?
Yeah, exactly.
And like choose love and like all of that.
Yeah.
Pretty sure I'm wearing one of those t-shirts in the interview. But yeah, gets bullied and ends up on the news for it, which I just think is so funny.
But also quite iconic.
Yeah, but then I guess that comes into comparisons as well of getting an email that was about the fact that I was friends with this person or this person thought this about me. And it's like, well,
Did
why
you ever
are you...
find out who sent you that?
No, maybe they were scared by the fact that I was like pulled some strings and got on the news. I suppose when you're
Wow.
13, maybe that is scary.
Yeah.
Hilarious though.
Oh my God.
At the time, I was like, are we sure this is the right way to handle this? Okay, I'll go on the news.
That's
And
hilarious.
it's just like, it's the fact that like, they had to like blur out half the email because it was just full of expletives, but like they're over my
Oh
shoulder
my
whilst
God.
as if I'm like reenacting reading the email and like my cat's next to me.
You're joking.
Just
Please
like
tell me
stroking
you're
my cat and it
joking.
just makes me like a real big loser. But anyway.
No offence, mate, but I honestly would have thought from that the bullying would have got worse.
Thanks. Well, no, apparently the power of the media works, so.
Well, clearly it does, and you know what? I'm glad it did.
You know what? I think if I was at school in the UK, it would have been horrendous.
Yeah, it would
I
have.
I would have just, yeah.
You would have been forever known as
I
the
would
girl
have
that
been-
went on TV.
Yeah, I would have been chased out of the town. But yeah.
Oh
Back to comparisons
my
in your
God.
childhood.
I don't have
Brought me back
anything to like top that, I'm afraid. So I'm going to
No,
let you
did
have
you?
that one.
You didn't end up on the news?
No.
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 Loser. I've got connections.
Yeah, all right.
So, don't know if they're good ones. No, they are good ones. But I'm just a loser. Anyway,
But that is a hilarious story.
I'm just a loser who can't read an email without crying and going on the news. So yeah, childhood. I think it starts at that age, doesn't it? At like 9. No, we said sports days, but then when you first become aware of like your body
Yeah,
image
yeah.
and stuff, it's 9-ish,
Yeah.
9, 10.
Yeah.
And there's a lot that we could go into with body image stuff, but we have actually had an episode in mind for that, so that will be
Yeah.
coming soon.
Yeah.
So we'll go into more depth about body image, but that is obviously, we've touched on it a little bit when
Yeah.
we first became aware of it. Obviously, it would be weird to not mention it in this episode, but we know we definitely want to delve in deeper to that. So
Yeah.
stay tuned. Anyway,
Anyway.
If you're mean to me, I'll go on the news.
Okay,
So
right. Bloody hell.
back to it. Childhood. Yeah. So then I think the next is, I mean, from my experience, you leave primary school and get into high school, and then it kind of is rampant, and it becomes obviously body image, but then it just becomes everything. It becomes
intelligence.
Yeah, so
what
academic performance,
what set you're in,
what set you're in, how smart you are, what subjects you're doing, and then relationships. Do you have a boyfriend? Have you kissed a boy? Have you done this? What define your sexuality, all of those kinds of things. And then just to briefly go back into the body image thing, for me personally, I think I felt the effect of body image comparisons at that age more viscerally than the academic comparison. The academic comparison probably put more stress on me mentally.
Right.
In the sense that I felt pressure from that.
Right.
I didn't feel pressure from, well, there were probably some pressures from body image to be the same as other people or whatever.
Yeah.
But I felt more emotion and sadness and confusion from the body image comparisons I was having at the time, as opposed to the academic ones.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, I might be an outlier, I didn't take the academic ones as personally. I took them as more of a pressure and a challenge than a body image comparison that was a bit soul crushing.
Yeah.
I don't know how that feels for you, but
yeah, I mean, I've always been on the curvier side anyway, and yeah, I mean, I felt those body image comparisons again, like you just said, quite viscerally in those high school years, because again, all my closest friends, they were a certain way and I was the complete opposite, and it makes you feel like a bit of an outcast.
Yeah, and especially at that age when people start like figuring out what kind of relationships they want to have, that then all links into each other and makes you be like, oh,
yeah,
they're getting attention. Is it because they look that way and I look this way?
Yes.
Or is it because of another reason? And you'll never know that answer. Like, yes, teenage boys are, a one-way street, really, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're very easy to read. And,
yeah.
Curvy girls might not be in their remit at that age.
No, definitely not.
Certainly not in my experience, anyway.
And definitely not in mine. And yet, there was still some that, would hang around, and I'm like, okay, all right. But then it would almost be like a bit embarrassed to sort of
the secrecy,
or flirt with me, when we all know.
To
what
that
was
I
down.
say, grow up.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll get more into that in the body image episode.
Yeah.
As I said before, I just thought that aligned quite well.
Yeah, it
as
does.
the thought process. Yeah, so I think teenage years rife with comparison of
rough.
all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And then moving into your early 20s, what, if anything, new came up as a comparison for you?
Again, I'm a countryside girl, so me moving into a private housing for first year, because I missed out on halls. God, the mixture of personalities in that house, and also comparing backgrounds.
Yeah, that's a big thing that happens when you go to uni, isn't it?
Big thing.
It's yeah.
And I do not come from wealth, okay? And so I entered this uni house, and it just seemed like these other people, again, of course, because we're all different, we've all grown up differently, different circumstances, but there was a couple that just really, really flaunted it, and not that I've ever been without, and I'm very, very grateful for how I've been raised by my parents. I mean, listen, they've raised a legend, they can't deny that, but when I went to uni, I was like, Jesus, how the other half live?
Yeah.
And that was insane, because I really had to figure out my finances properly for the first time and make sure that my rent was paid and that I could feed myself, and make sure that I was putting in enough money into the bills pot each month for the house. And it's just like, other people didn't have to worry about that
Yeah.
as much. Not to say that they didn't worry about it, because it was a change for them as well,
Yeah.
of course, but they didn't have to really think about it as much. So then I started comparing myself then, being like, oh, right, okay, this is
I think
crazy.
I found the differences in upbringings really difficult.
Did you? In what way?
It's just, I think the way that I was brought up was to always be generous and caring and kind
Yes.
and respectful of other people's space and how treat things that I borrow from people the way I would want things that I have to be treated. And I think that this, you just suddenly go, oh, okay, someone's used this or someone's taken this.
God,
and
same.
you don't want to cause a conflict, because it's like, at the end of the day, it's a bit of butter, but it's like, it was less about the physical thing to me. If someone broke something of mine or someone used something of mine, it appears that you're being really precious if you bring it up.
Yeah.
But the thing that got me was just not even having the decency to check in before doing anything with it, or even say you don't check in beforehand and you break something or you take something.
Yeah.
Telling someone afterwards as well. What else should we compare?
I feel like life stages and goals.
Yes, because that
is quite a big thing, especially after leaving
education.
Uni.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, anybody who's done education, whatever level they've done it at, because I've got friends that didn't even bother going to uni, and that's another thing that I compared myself to when I was at uni, and I'd come home and I was poor student, like summer breaks and whatever, and other friends, they've just been working and doing their own thing, which is great, but I'd see, I'm like, and then wouldn't it be nice to be able to afford to do that?
Yeah, but then those friends at the stage where you're finishing uni and you're trying to find a job, they've been securing a job for that 3 or 4 years by that point, and they've actually got nest eggs going on, and you're like, I owe so much money and I have 0 pots of which to piss in.
Exactly. And so it's just one of those things, and I really struggled with that when I left uni. And then it was just like everyone just goes off, does their own thing, which of course that's natural, that's life, great. And then everyone's just like popping up doing different things, and I'm like, whoa, I don't even know where I'm going, what I'm doing.
It's like, she's given birth, she's got married, he's got a house.
Yeah. And I'm like, I've always been so happy for all my friends and, celebrate their successes and their achievements.
But it's natural to do that as well as feeling like you're falling behind.
And the amount of years, mate, that I felt like I am failing because I'm not on a similar level. Yeah,
but I think we've had this conversation before, because I remember we've both over the years been down about certain things that we felt like we were maybe lacking in our life due to seeing other people have those things.
Yeah.
And it was never a case of, I'm really jealous of them, I want what they have, they don't deserve it. It was, oh, okay, I actually don't have that thing. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, because it puts things into perspective.
It really does.
You. Yeah.
And I vividly remember having a conversation with you just after I think you'd bought your flat. And it was probably when you were unhappy at work.
Right.
And you were sort of saying, I see you at work and you're really happy and all of that. And I was like, Lucy, I see you with a flat. Do you know what I mean? I was like, we're going to compare ourselves to each other.
Yeah.
Regardless of what's going, because we're never, it's unrealistic to expect everyone to be at the same point forever.
Exactly, but that again is a learning curve, and that takes a long time to learn and be okay with it.
Yeah.
I remember that conversation actually.
Because I was like, I don't have that. And now, look, I've got, my flat now, you've got your flat, and you've got the job that you want.
Yeah.
So
things take time, and I think as I'm getting older, I'm like fully appreciating that things happening for me are going to happen for me at the right time for me.
Yeah, definitely. Although on that, I do think it is important to make sure that you're putting yourself out there to
Oh,
those things.
yeah.
And it's not because you're seeing other people do it. It's because
No.
you're ready to do that.
Yeah.
Because there is that thing of, oh, look at all these people who are, getting married or
Yeah.
doing all these other things. And sometimes I have to sit myself down and go, I don't actually want to get married right now.
Yeah.
What do I actually want? What is it that I want? I don't feel personally ready to get married. Not that I'm against marriage. I don't know. It's the right person, right time.
Yeah.
But I haven't even got a person to get married to. So why am I
No.
worried about that? You know what I mean?
No.
Sometimes it becomes this big thing that's so silly to even be comparing yourself to, because you're like, this doesn't even actually relate to me right now.
No, I know.
It's like, what?
Yeah. But I think that's, again, society pressures.
Mm.
And also sort of generational pressures as well.
Yeah.
Not that it's ever meant in a harmful way, but like the amount of times my nan, for example, has said to me, oh, just need to find you a nice man now, Lucy. And I'm like,
Does she ever use that? Because my grandma's used the term, you can't be on the shelf forever, which I thought was...
Oh, wow, no, I haven't been told that yet.
Oh, it's so rude. So, it's, all really nonsense, really.
Well, it is, because I've always been the type of person, even from when I was very young, that I had to do things my own way, right? And I didn't really conform to everything else that other people were doing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I know that my life is going to look completely different to, some of my closest friends and family, and that's A-okay.
Yeah.
But it's taken me a long while to appreciate that, especially when I was really unhappy in my previous job, because I just felt like I was stuck.
Yeah.
And being stuck or feeling stuck is such a horrible
feeling. It really is.
Because I just felt like I was never going to
You can't
get
see
out
a
or
way
achieve
out, yeah.
or see a way out or move on to a next thing or a next goal or whatever. And it's like really hard.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because even today we were having a conversation in which we somewhat compared our jobs.
Yeah.
And you were like, oh, your job's really cool. And I was like, it's not though. Like, it's not.
Yeah, but I suppose
do you know what I mean? So
isn't it?
that's what I mean. So to you, comparing my job to your job, you're like, your job's so much cooler than mine. And I'm like, it's not though. I don't even, you know what I mean? It's just... My other friend was like, yeah, we just do the same thing day in, day out. It's like, that's what jobs are.
Absolutely. But I think, again, because I romanticize a lot of things in my life or ideas, and because I have never worked in your industry, and I've always had a fascination with TV and film and how things are made and what goes into it. It just really intrigues me and I find it really interesting. So that's why I say to you, and I will forever stand by this, that I do think that you being in that industry is really cool.
It is and it isn't. I think walk a mile in my shoes at work.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you'd be like, that's really not. Not that I'm like dissing my industry, but
no, of course. It's just a job.
It's a job.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I have witnessed some cool things, but in terms of the day-to-day job, I don't think it's any better than anyone else's.
No, I know, but again,
I still have bad days at work. I still have good days at work. So,
but it's my perception of it.
Yeah, but I don't see a comparison in it because I'm like, it's just what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean...
But that's the thing, comparisons, what is the point of them? Because we see things so differently comparing the same thing.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Mental.
It is mental.
Yeah, so obviously it's natural to compare, especially I think coming out of uni as well, comparing jobs.
Yeah.
In your mid-20s, you're like, oh, that person's salary's like more than mine, or that person... Well,
everyone's salary was more than mine for a very long time.
You were absolutely duped.
Yeah.
You deserve promotion after promotion. It was
Thank
ridiculous. You. But I was freelance, so obviously that was different. And we obviously spoke about that in our careers thing. So in terms of salaries, it never really factored into it for me because I was just constantly being like, okay, I need another job. So
yeah.
But I am aware that can become, I think, mid-20s when people have had jobs for a certain amount of time. Some people tend to step up the ladder quite quickly and then thus their paychecks,
Yeah.
you know,
And good for them.
improve.
Yeah.
But that can then, it comes down to what careers you're all in, whether it's friends from school who might have done something different, whether it's, you know, we did the same degree, but we have different jobs.
Oh, yeah.
Your friends from work, obviously you're kind of in a similar boat, but the friends that are in different jobs to you, it becomes more of a gap sometimes, and you might feel left behind because you're not in a financial position that your friends are in.
Oh, yeah, and I felt that a lot.
Or, I don't want to put pressure on anyone, I'm just not going to do anything because I don't want to make anyone feel bad because I have money and they don't.
Or, like, for me, the amount of times over the years, and I've always felt bad about this, but I've always been honest about it, is that, oh, yeah, I'll make plans to do something with a friend, and then when it comes close to it, I'm like, I'm really sorry, I financially I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, and that makes me feel really bad, and it makes me feel really shitty, because then I feel like I'm letting them down, and then I'm like comparing myself internally, being like, oh, if you had gotten out of this situation earlier, or moved on to a different job, or figured out what you actually wanted to do when you left uni, you'd be in a different place, you'd be earning more money, you'd be blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I get you. Other comparisons that we should think about are when, and I think I briefly mentioned it when we were talking about when you're a teenager and people are first starting to get into relationships and all of that. In your 20s, obviously, there is a whole host of different relationship statuses. People are single, people are married at some point, people are in long-term relationships, people are dating, people are figuring out their sexuality as well. Sometimes that comes a bit later in life.
Yeah.
So there's all these different stages that everyone is at, and there's I feel like everyone has that one couple that's like been together since school.
Oh yeah,
that's still together.
Yeah,
everyone knows one.
Yeah.
So there's all those kinds of things, and it's hard sometimes when you're in different phases not to compare yourself to other people. Yeah. Either in a positive or a negative light, because I have found myself in situations where, if in the times where I've been single, I've looked at relationships and gone, oh, no thanks. Yeah. I'm really happy to not be in that.
Oh, yeah.
But then there's other times where I've been like, why am I not having that? Why don't I have that?
Yeah.
And the answer is because I don't bloody well go out.
Yeah, no, same, and I'm guilty of that. And everyone listening to this who knows me very, very well, they know that. And they're just like, oh, you don't put yourself out there. Yes, I know. I am aware. I'm not obtuse about it. I just don't do it.
But then there's, from my personal experience with relationships, I've had relationships end, and I'll define them as relationships, but it was more just like people that I dated for a significant amount of time that wasn't just like 1 or 2 dates.
Right.
You know, it was a couple of months.
Yeah.
But I didn't introduce them to my family. No one, didn't tell anyone about them. No. I told my friends about them, but maybe not my family. Yeah. And some of those relationships have made me go, oh, why do people want to be in relationships if this is what it's like?
Oh,
and that might not be because maybe it was an unhealthy experience. I don't know. But I've had the other flip side of going, I don't want to be in a relationship. Why would anyone want to be in a relationship? Do you know what I mean? It's grass is greener again.
Grass is, yeah. And to be honest, for the longest time, I really, really, really wasn't bothered, because I didn't really know what I wanted. I was still figuring out myself and what I wanted to do and achieve. And I honestly wasn't bothered about it. Don't get me wrong, there were always going to be moments of being like, oh, you know, it would be nice to have this. Or I'd see my friends in relationships and they'd be like, oh, that's really nice that they're, you know, got somebody that's there and that they spend time with and they, you know, have a lot in common with. Yeah. I've always had those like moments throughout the years. But I would honestly say it hasn't been until like the last couple of years I've really thought about it a bit more.
Yeah.
And seeing really close friends getting married, and it's lovely, and it might not come across this way, but at a deep down I am like a romantic at heart. I really am. It's just I don't know how to put myself in those positions. And then I think well, I'm really happy on my own and what I'm doing and focusing on me.
Yeah.
And it would be really nice to be in a relationship, but I don't really know what's what. And I don't know, not that there's such a thing as a perfect relationship, because of course there isn't.
No.
Right? But if it doesn't feel right, then what's the point? Because
Oh,
I
yeah.
have so many great examples around me from friends and family of these really lovely relationships.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I would like that, and hopefully one day I'll have that. But right now it's just like, I don't really know. But again, I'm comparing, because I'll have those moments being like, oh, I'm feeling quite lonely.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I've had, in moments where I've felt that kind of loneliness when I'm single, still am, where, and I hate that I've had these thoughts, but I also then have to cut myself some slack and go, I'm a human being. This is a natural thing. Everyone compares themselves to everyone else.
Yeah, of course.
This isn't just you being horrible for no reason.
No.
But I've had moments where, you know, you see someone who is just not a nice person, and they're in a really happy relationship, and you're like, how? How is this person who is awful in a really loving relationship and no one wants to date me? And that, again, is because you're in a certain mood, you don't see the bigger picture of, well, no, it's not that no one wants to date me, it's that I don't put myself in a position for anyone to even ask me on a date.
Oh my God, there is a prime example of that for me. And this person is married, and I'm like, you're such a dick. You are such a dick, right?
Like, how have you tricked this person into thinking you're a nice one?
Right? And I'm just like, are you absolutely having a giggle right now?
An absolute giraffe.
Absolute giraffe. Like, I'm great and I'm a nice person, right?
But then it's not even that you want the person that they're with. You're just like, how? How does anyone like you?
Exactly.
And then you feel bad because you're like, am I just being really mean? And then you're like, oh,
crap.
Conscience.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is something that has crossed my mind before in the past. And I'm like, now I feel like I'm an awful person. And then I'm like, well, that's why no one wants to be with me.
Yeah, I know. And then it goes into a downward spiral.
You really just...
And then you're back at square one, sat on your sofa watching Netflix, you know?
When I was in a relationship, I wasn't thinking about single people. But I know that in some relationships people do. And I would argue that's when it gets to the point where maybe something's not right in the relationship if one person's like, oh, imagine what it would be like to be single right now. You'd be like, oh, okay, that's a bit of a red flag. You guys should talk about that.
Yeah. That's actually one of my fears. But I'm not going to lie.
I sometimes look at friends and relationships. I'm like, I love that I don't have to
consider somebody else's
factor someone else's life into what I'm doing.
Yeah. Because that is a massive thing. And I often think about that. And I'm just like, you know what? I don't have to consider somebody else's thoughts or feelings.
Yeah.
I don't have to justify my actions to anybody else.
Yeah.
I don't have to get into stupid fights about stupid things. You know, I'm happy.
Yeah, well, because it goes both ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
There's pros and cons to everything in life.
But that is one of my
Except
fears.
maybe murder, as I've said before. That's a con.
Yeah. That is one of my fears, though, of me finally getting into a relationship and thinking, damn, I miss my single days. Which I don't think would happen. I think it's just something because I've been single pretty much forever.
I don't think it would be in the sense of single days as in toxic, I want to go on loads of dates and sleep around. It's as in, I miss my... It wouldn't be your single days. I miss my independence is probably...
Yes, that's probably a better way to
because it wouldn't be that you would be like, I want to go on dates.
Well, no, because I don't do that now.
Yeah.
I've literally been on one date in a year.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
You're doing better than me.
Oh, you know what? I feel like I am ready to put myself out there a bit more.
She's shaking her shoulders. She's
shimmying. Because I'm a great time and everyone needs to know that.
I'm fun time.
I'm great. But I think I just need to put myself out there for me. I'm not trying to do it for anybody else. I'm not trying to actively get into a relationship.
Don't put too much thought into it.
No, I just need to be a little bit footloose and fancy free and, have a fun time.
Go shake your tartars in your real bra.
Yeah, not my training on.
Put on your metaphorical training bra for dates. Your date training bra.
Okay, all right. Noted.
Yeah. Well, I'll put mine on too. We can do it together.
Solidarity.
Anyway, so that's relationship comparisons. Yeah, I think to round out the discussion, comparisons are natural.
Yes.
It's okay to have those thoughts
Yeah.
and compare yourself, but don't live in them.
Yeah, no. Because actually, comparison is the thief of joy.
Oh, 100%.
God.
It really is.
Look at me bringing out that banger.
Okay. All right.
No, but it truly is.
Quotes.com.
I know, right? Because what's the point?
Exactly.
Literally, what is the point? It zaps all your bloody energy. Put it into something that's actually useful.
There are only so little things that would benefit a comparison. Like there's just, I can't really even think of any off the top of my head.
No.
It just makes you, unless it's showing you where you're at and your ability, that's the only one I can probably think of.
Or comparing your past self from like a year ago.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes that can be
Or
helpful.
your options for things.
Yeah.
But in terms of comparing yourself to anything else that's not you or
Yeah, no.
your experiences,
No. We're not
there's
doing
not really
that.
any point.
We're
Don't
not
live
doing
in other
that.
people's shadows.
No, let's not do that or bring that type of energy into 2024. Let's just not.
Or ever.
Or ever.
Yeah.
But, you know...
From now on, stop comparing
from now
things.
on, you're not
Unless
allowed.
it's your insurance provider.
Oh my God, do that every single time, because otherwise you are getting, you know, fucked over.
Those meerkats might be trifling on the adverts, but they are helpful online.
Oh, they really are.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's... You
That's
do you, babes.
comparison.
You do you.
Well, I think that's the best advice anybody could give, to be honest, because it's truthful.
It is. It's that time of the episode. Right near the end.
Oh, time of that week.
Time
Wow.
of that week. Sit down.
I am sat.
Sit further. It's that time of the episode. It's not quite the end. You know
No.
what's coming.
It's...
Is it? Is it?
Is it? It is.
Hear me out. Right.
Do you want to kickstart or can I?
You know what? You went first last week, so I'm going to go first.
All right.
I'm stepping into my power and going first.
Fine, whatever. I will laugh. If it's similar again, then...
Well, you got it last week, so I get to have it this week.
Yeah, that's fine.
You asked a somewhat similar question to this, but I think this is slightly different and it works with comparisons in a
Okay.
previous episode.
Okay.
Would you rather be able to see 10 minutes into your own future or 10 minutes into the future of anyone but yourself?
Ooh.
So it's similar to the question that you asked with
the book.
but that was about yourself only.
Yeah.
And that was a Sophie's choice of
Yeah.
whether to pick it up or not. But this is...
Is this any moment in my future? Can I pick, say,
No,
like
it's
a
10
year?
minutes. It's 10 minutes into your future.
So, like, 10 minutes from now?
Well,
That's what I'm trying to say.
I read it as that, but maybe it is 10 minutes of
Yeah.
your future at any point.
Yeah, because 10 minutes from now,
No.
why would I want to know that?
Okay, yeah, so maybe it is 10 minutes, like you get like a little recorded window of 10 minutes of at some point in your future that you choose.
Yeah, so,
Or
for
you
example,
can look
from the
at-
year 2040.
Yeah.
Right.
Or someone else's. But you're not allowed to see yourself if you choose someone else's. But whereas if you choose your own, it might cross over from someone else's, if that makes sense, that you might pick a certain 10 minutes of your life where you're interacting with someone else. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
So you're technically seeing their future as well.
I think from a selfish point of view, I'd like to see my own.
I knew you were going to say that.
Oh, really? Is it obvious I was going to say that?
Because you read the last page of your future book before.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, I just think sometimes I just like to check in. I just like to see that we're all dandy, and if we're not dandy, that's okay. We just deal with the situation. Because I think if I were to choose somebody else, I wouldn't know who I would want to choose for somebody else.
Yeah.
And I think because there are so many different people that I would perhaps want to check in on, right? But then that would be really hard for me to decipher who that would be.
Yeah.
With myself, at least, again, I can sort of hold myself accountable about my actions of what have led me to that point in time. I don't know. But I would choose myself. Back yourself always.
Egotistical.
Yeah. My head is so large it won't fit through that door. What about you? You're the opposite, aren't you?
I don't know, actually.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the idea of seeing my own future. I've always been weird about that.
Fair enough.
But then...
But even just 10-minute snippet?
No, I don't care that much.
Really?
No, I don't. But also, I see where you're coming from on the point of who do you choose.
Yeah, because who would you choose?
I think anyone that is close to me and older in my life, it would freak me out to do 10 minutes into their future. Because what if I saw what happens in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wouldn't want that.
No.
So maybe just like a random celebrity. It'd be quite funny.
Do you think? Okay.
Can you imagine?
Yeah.
Just,
like who? Who would you want?
I don't know. Pick like a Jonas Brother or something.
Yeah, hilarious. Which one?
I don't know if I would pick a Jonas Brother. They're not my final choice. It's not my final answer.
Oh, okay.
Who would be interesting to look 10 minutes into their future? So I feel like it might be wasted on a Jonas Brother. They're just Jonas Brothering around still. They're still brothers and they're still Jonas. You know?
Is there perhaps like a director that you're really into?
Nah.
Comedian? Actor?
No. Don't care. Maybe just nothing. I just choose not to do any of them.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah, I don't care.
Fair enough.
Or maybe like a politician or something.
Really? Why?
No, maybe I don't care. But I just don't care, Lucy. I don't care to see into the future.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
What, like, live in the now, people.
Yeah,
I honestly really am racking my brains because even people that I know, I don't care enough to look at my own future. I don't know. It's a really rubbish answer. Sorry. Well, I am trying to think, but I'm coming up blank.
Well, let's see if you can give me a better answer for mine.
Okay.
All right. If you could compare yourself to any person, living or dead, people that you know or don't know, who would you compare yourself to and why?
Just a general comparison?
Yeah.
And would it be comparing myself to like the age that I'm at now and when they were at that age, or if they are at that age, or? No,
it could be literally absolutely anybody. It could be just based off, you could answer it that way. It could be based off of personality.
Right.
Or characteristics that you see of yourself within another person. It could be absolutely anything. It could be as deep as you want or as light-hearted as you want.
I think I want to go light-hearted rather than serious.
Yeah. I think that's probably the best.
Comparing whose hips don't lie the most with Shakira. Like, hey, that one's lying. Shakira. I thought you said they didn't lie.
Okay.
Actually, that's my answer. That's
your answer.
Comparing whose hips don't lie with Shakira.
Okay.
Not that I've ever thought that much about Shakira, and that's pretty much the only Shakira song I know. Oh, I can visualise though that she was in that funny outfit with the snake on the CD.
Yeah.
CD. I'm so old.
Oh my god, me too. Because I was like, yeah. Because I had it too.
CDs.
Yeah, CDs.
Dying art form.
I don't actually know, and I've stumped myself on my own question, which is bad form on my part. But
do you not want to see who's better at looking like a fake puppet with Justin Timberlake?
No.
Oh, imagine comparing who's better at baby saxophone with Jack Black.
Oh my god,
you'd be so good with that.
I love Jack Black. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one.
They're coming in. I'm picking them up. The psychic vibes are coming through.
I don't know. It's difficult. Like, I suppose a sweet answer would be that I know I'm very, very similar to my mum.
Yeah.
I know I am. And, like, our personalities are quite similar. Quite bubbly people. Speak to anybody.
Yeah.
And have a great sense of humour. But, yeah. Maybe I'll just go with the Jack Black one as a funny one. Because I feel like we would rock out. Or
I'm in the corner shouting at Shakira because her hips are lying to me.
And
how do you make this one not lie, Shakira?
Show me the technique.
Why is mine so truthful?
And me and Jack Black rocking out in the other corner. Or me and Charlie Marlowe, because I feel like we are quite similar.
What would you be comparing?
Probably the way that we storytell or like vibe. Which it's such a general thing, isn't it? But the amount of times you've sent me her videos and been like, this is you.
Well, yeah.
So, you know, that.
I don't have a serious answer, I'm afraid.
That's okay. But I thought it was quite a good question.
It was a good question. I enjoyed it.
Good, as you should.
I'm really just wishing I could figure out how my hips don't lie now.
That's between you and Shakira.
My hips are incredibly deceitful.
And whichever hip is giving you some jip. Do you know what I mean?
Left one currently.
Oh, right.
Left hip, right rib.
Oh, Jesus.
I am.
We are getting old.
I am unfortunately lopsided at the moment. Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Maybe actually I changed my answer to comparing scans of my body with a doctor.
Yeah, maybe that's a good place to start, isn't it?
And then Shakira comes in and goes, the hip's lying. That's what we like to call a callback, everyone.
Oh, God. Jesus Christ.
Anyway, well, heard each other out. I actually didn't. You didn't really hear me out that much.
No, I
didn't
didn't
answer. So
do better next time.
I'm
please.
still trying to think for my one. Maybe Shakira. I don't even like Shakira that much, but
all right. I feel like this has taken a turn.
10 minutes is a long chunk of time as well.
Do you think?
Yeah, if to just be watching something for 10 minutes. You've seen the 10-minute feature on TikTok. It's bloody ages.
I was just gonna say you and TikTok, you just like short, sharp, sweet, don't you? Unless sometimes you do send me some long ones. Sometimes I'm like, oh.
Yeah, but they get to the point though. You send me long ones. You send me really long ones.
And I feel like that is us on Hear Me Out, to be honest.
And the entire episode, really.
Well, yeah, and that on comparisons.
Watch out for those meerkats. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of 29 to Life.
She's been Annie.
She's been Lucy.
New episodes drop every Thursday on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Catch the video version on YouTube.
Don't miss out on behind-the-scenes exclusives on all of our socials. You can find us with the same handle, @29tolifepod, on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube.
Or email us at 29tolifepod@gmail.com.
Follow, like and subscribe on whatever platform you choose. We would love to see you there.
See you next Thursday. Bye!